Hey people, it is Sunday, April the 7th. The time is 4:47 in the afternoon. It's a beautiful 14 degrees Celsius. I'm at King Street, looking east towards the heart of the financial district and the entertainment district, at the corner of Grant Street and in front of Elton John's future home here in the penthouse of this new condominium you see here. I'm going to take a walk around the west side of downtown, otherwise known as Downtown West. Starting here on Branch Street, which is a street I rarely walk along. And I think this will be a bit of a unplanned wandering sort of walk. Just enjoying the day and seeing how many people are out and about. So we're heading north now on Branch Street. Maybe I'll check out Camden Street, which is a short little street up ahead that I also rarely ever walk down. Eventually I'll make my way onto more familiar streets such as Adelaide, which we're going to pass in a minute here, and other streets in West Downtown, which is also known as the Entertainment District. And I'm not sure where I'll end up. I might end up in the Financial District. That remains to be seen. So looking east along Adelaide. Try to avoid walking west since the sun is very bright in the sky in that direction. And lots of people walking their dogs. I think I've seen about half a dozen dogs just in the last 30 seconds, including one right behind me. This neighborhood is full of young, mostly single people without kids, and so dogs dominate here. I don't think this goes anywhere. If I do see an alley that looks like I can walk through it, though, I might venture in. I don't know if I will. I won't venture in if it looks like a dead end. And here's Camden Street. This is a fairly new boutique hotel. I think it's called the Ace Hotel, if I'm not mistaken. We got a brief appearance of the CN Tower here, and it's gone. I'm not sure if this parking lot is long for the world. It seems ripe for development. think these smaller buildings on this side are also slated to be redeveloped. 15 and 17-story hotel. This old building has character. And this one is rather bizarre, but interesting. I hope this one stays. And this large parking lot also is ripe for development. As a matter of fact, it has a proposal here for a 19-story building. It's like big changes coming to Camden Street in the near future. And look at that fire escape. That is a great fire escape. Is it accessible from street level though? Oftentimes you can't get on these fire escapes from the ground. As you can see, I think you need a special hook to pull that ladder down so that you can get on it. As well as over here. This one I could go up, but is it really worthwhile? Hey, alleyway that I've never ventured in though. That's an interesting graffiti here. Well, maybe one day. I have to come with my own ladder just to get high enough to grab onto the lowest rung of this ladder here. Emerge onto Spadina Avenue. North, you can see the 510 Spadina streetcar heading to Spadina Station. And two more streetcars ahead of it. They seem to be a bit bunched up. Spadina Building, 1919. There are lots of great older high-rise buildings here on Spadina, Lower Spadina. Although technically Lower Spadina begins south of Front, but you know what I mean. The southernmost part of Spadina. And on this side too. This one is the Reading Building, 1925. It's called the Tower Building. There's no year though, but I imagine it's from around the same time period, the early part of the 1900s. This was the former garment district, going back 100 years or more. I think I'll head east along Adelaide here. Before I do, here's another great old building with a fire escape. Also not accessible from the street. I see a fire escape on the side of that building too, as well as this one over here. Maybe they should rename this the Fire Escape District. Let's look south. And this parking lot is also the site of a future new residential tower. It sort of mimics the old Art Deco styles, in keeping with some of the older buildings along Spadina here. I think it will be a huge asset to the neighborhood. You can see the top of the rendering here. It will be fairly tall. I think 39 stories, I think, or something along those lines. The Ellis building, not very tall, but still quite nice. Let's investigate this alley. I'm not sure if it's a dead end or not. It's not high enough to bother climbing up. I'll take you back to Spadina. I can see the fire escape on the side of that building, which does not seem to be accessible. Will I be able to get back to Adelaide? I might have to go to Richmond. Well, luck has it. There's a way to get back to Adelaide. And kind of a good place to park your car out of the way here. Looking south down Charlotte Street there. That'll take you down to King Street. That was a fun little diversion. It amazes me that after all these years of doing walking videos, there are so many spots I haven't walked down yet. There's another shot of the tower peaking. Saying hello. Tons of new residential towers popping up all around this neighborhood. Lots of them are incorporating the older historic buildings as part of the development, which is better than losing them altogether as far as I'm concerned. The problem is sometimes the retail takes quite a long time to come and fill up these spaces at the bottom of these new developments. Is this a relic from another era here? Does that still work? And here's Peter Street. So this is becoming quite a canyon of tall buildings now. Mix of old and new here. I like how they made this new building sort of mimic the look of its historic neighbor. Of course, you can tell which one is authentically old and which one isn't quite easily, but I think it looks decently nice. Of course, it has the sort of glassy looking frontage at street level, which I'm not such a fan of. Cool terminating view here, that tower. And some of these side streets are quite dark now that they've sprouted all these tall buildings. But in the summer, it's a nice place to catch some shade. Some old Victorian townhouses still remaining here on the street. Those have largely disappeared from the area. There are a few more examples that have been preserved and incorporated into a new development. I wonder if the same thing will happen with those ones. Downtown is only Hooters, as far as I know. This building is also probably ripe for redevelopment here. Prominent corner here at John and Adelaide. I think I'll cross here to avoid the music On that side of John and Adelaide, there's a number of bars there. And the patios are probably be full now, or getting full. That one is actually quite full right on the corner, which is nice to see. There's a whole stretch of patios along John Street there. And a nice new addition to the neighborhood here with its red brick exterior. Any building that's not a blue or green glass box is A-okay in my books. I think Toronto is moving away from that condo aesthetic now. But you can see some of the earlier examples here. Nice old historic buildings here. I think there's also a proposal for this building for a new tower, which will be incorporating it. This is called the Herman Building here. It's a sturdy, attractive looking building, obviously worse for wear right now. Up ahead is an example of another old building that was rehabilitated and incorporated into a new condo, and they did a great job with that one. Nice little stretch of night spots here. There used to be more all through this area, but over the years, they've all closed down one by one. The neighborhood is just changing, it's evolving. The nightlife has shifted further west. That was a former night spot right there on that corner, which is now the site of a very tall new future condo tower. And here's this old historic building I was talking about that they incorporated into this new tower. That's just a facade on either side. Most of the building is completely gone. I'm going to cross get a good look at that old building. This is Duncan Street. It's lined with these awesome old historic warehouse style buildings. See how this building will transform this corner. So now we're heading north on Duncan Street. Thought I'd get off of Adelaide. Is this alley worth exploring? Maybe I'll save that for another time. This is called Nelson Street. Another street I rarely ever walk down. It's right in between Adelaide and Richmond. It's not as interesting or charming as Camden Street. We're getting closer to the financial district now. Maybe I will check out just the last bit of this alley here. As soon as I started walking down Nelson Street, I realized I should have taken this alley. It would have been a bit more visually appealing. Of course, got the bright sun looking in that direction. Shangri-La Hotel, terminating this view. And here's Simcoe Street. Not a cloud in the sky today. Tomorrow is the total eclipse. And of course, wouldn't you know it, the forecast for tomorrow calls for overcast skies. Whereas today would have been absolutely perfect conditions for that.
I think it's also that like it's done though.
And we're coming into the financial district, about to cross University Avenue. Get in the shade here. It's actually warm enough to feel a bit hot now with the sun on my back. Starting to question why I'm wearing this long sleeve flannel shirt. I think a t-shirt would feel quite nice right now. Oh, you already?
I'll never be there.
Fair amount of activity even in the financial district on this Sunday. The sun was reflecting off the Bay Adelaide Centre up ahead. Almost as bad as it were shining directly in my face. And the big giant head. That's just what I call it. I think its real name is Dreaming. I think big giant head is a lot more fun. Here's the historic concourse building, although this is just a reconstructed facade of the original building, which was demolished and incorporated into a new office tower. But they did a good job, and it looks almost exactly as it did before, except now it's just fronting onto a much larger modern glass tower. I think this is a new addition to the neighborhood. There you can see the old historic building and its modern new addition. And this is Shepherd Street. Another very shady street. Got a nice mix of old and new buildings along here as well. My favorite thing about Shepherd Street is the view looking south. With the first Canadian place terminating that view. And another dark and shady street, Temperance Street. That alley will just take you over to Richmond Street. Strange that so many cars opt to come through here. Emerge onto Bay Street. It's solidly in the heart of the financial district now. Quite busy here too. I think the nice warm weather brings a lot of people out even on a Sunday. In a neighborhood that you wouldn't think of much activity going on other than 9 to 5 Monday to Friday. Looking south down Bay. And the familiar clock tower of Old City Hall. Tons of early 1900s era skyscrapers all throughout this area. And this part of Temperance Street has all been completely redesigned. Much more space for pedestrians. Got some nice seating. And the street has been narrowed as well. Nice interlocking brick. Wait for Gap. And you got this awesome view of Scotia Plaza between the Bay Adelaide Centre Towers. Photo shoot going on over there, maybe? emerge here onto Yonge Street. And I think this is where I'm going to wrap up this walk. We made our way from downtown west of Spadina actually, at Branton King, and gradually headed eastward through West Downtown, aka the Entertainment District. And it was fun to take various streets I don't often walk along, ending up in the Financial District here at Yonge and Temperance. So leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts if you enjoyed this one or not. And also be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And make sure you also hit that notification bell. That way you won't miss any of my videos. And if you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal as well as via my merch store. Or you can also support the channel by becoming a channel member. Hello. Or by sending a super thanks if you prefer. And you can find me on Instagram also if you're on there under K Continuum. So thanks for watching, and be sure to keep checking back, because as always I will continue.